Okay, so the simplest way to check this is if I disconnect this wire nut right here, and oh, key's on already. With the key on, let's see, just make sure this had a good connection. It did. Alright, with the key on, if I ground this, the light should light. Of course, I don't know if I'm getting a good ground here. Let me find a good known ground. Okay, I've hooked a alligator clip with a wire on it up to my idiot light, the side that was going to the alternator. And if I ground that, you can see my idiot light comes on. But when I connect it to the white wire on the alternator, it fails to light. So we get a problem. Not good. Well, I am getting a reading from that white wire to ground, a resistance reading. It's very high though. So just for the heck of it, I've rehooked it up. I'm gonna wiggle that connector on the alternator. You probably can't see because it's getting dark, but I've got a connector right here on the alternator that plugs in on the top. Could easily be just a bad connection there. So, wish I could watch that light while I was doing that. The light's still not lighting. Tempted to just fire it up and see what happens to the voltage on the battery. See if it changes. Well, I'm getting 11.96 volts. Battery's pretty low. Don't even know if it's going to be enough to get this thing cranking, considering it's pretty cold now. Alright, let's see if it starts. Same crappy voltage I was getting before I started it. Alternator ain't doing anything. I guess I shouldn't be surprised since I wasn't getting an idiot light indicator. Idiot light's still out. Ammeter ain't doing anything either. Ammeter's not budging. Whoop! Oh, I didn't move that time. But I accidentally engaged the solenoid, the ammeter moved, so good to know at least the ammeter's working, but it ain't moving at all. I got no charge happening here. I got a dead alternator. So next step is going to be to pull the alternator. And probably initially I'll just bring it down to an auto parts store and have it tested. Well, it's after supper and it's completely dark out here, but I do want to get this alternator out tonight because I'd like to take it into the basement and put it on the workbench and take a better look at it. And also, worst case scenarios, while I'm out at work tomorrow, at some point we'll stop at an automotive parts store that has a tester and test the alternator. So first step is disconnect the positive battery cable because we don't want to take that cable off right there and have it hit something and arc. Not much holding this alternator on there. I just loosened that screw on the tensioning bracket there, and then down below there's a bolt in there that I loosened. And that looks like it's pretty much gonna be it. So I just go to loosen that up, pop the belt off, and then should be able to swing it down and take that bolt all the way out. Alright, I've got the tensioner bolt out, so now I can pull up on this and drop this belt off. Kind of hard to hold the camera and the light at the same time, so I got the light just on the tire here, but it's not in a good position. I gotta put the camera down for this. Okay, I got the belt off, but this alternator doesn't really drop down very far. So I'm going to take that bolt out on the bottom there. Alright, I'm finishing up just in time because the camera's actually getting too cold to work properly. It's not turning on. Anyways, now I've got the alternator out. Last thing I need to do, let me get the light on so you can see. Last thing I need to do is I need to remove that connector right there. And the way that works is there's a plastic tang right there where my finger's pointing. And you squeeze that and that should release that connector. So let me put the camera down and do that. Alright, so I got the connector out. There are the two spade connectors in there that it slips onto. And I just want to take a look at the bottom of this connector. Yeah, it looks like the connections look good. Probably can't see them here in the dark, but they are. So we definitely got something going on inside this alternator, which is now completely disconnected from the tractor, so we're going inside. Alright, first thing I noticed about this alternator, which is quite obvious, is that these holes right here for ventilation are 80 to 90% blocked with grease and gunk, and that's never a good thing. These holes are also partially blocked, so essentially you got a situation where this alternator has probably been running way too hot and overheating for who knows how much of its life. I mean, you combine that with the shoddy wiring job that was underneath the dashboard, and this thing's seen some hard times. So let's see if we can't clean a little bit of that gunk out. Actually, I'm thinking now I just want to take this rear cover right off. It's going to be a lot easier to clean it that way. Okay, I've taken these 4 cap screws out. That should separate this whole back cover assembly off of the alternator, but it's not popping off easily because it's probably never been off. So let's see if I can't pry it off. Well, the wife just called down. All the kids are in bed and they all want hugs. So I'm going to go up and give the kids hugs, and I might not get back to this tonight. I can't get this separated. I might just take the whole thing down as it is and have it tested. Nah, I'm back. Gave the kids their hugs, came down, watched a little TV, had some ice cream, decided nothing on TV was really worth watching. Decided I'd rather come down here and take another crack at getting this thing apart. You can actually see this almost looks like it's separating a little bit here, but barely any. Let's see if I can't get something to wedge in there. Well, now this is interesting. As I try and separate this actually becomes hard to rotate. So something's not happening right here. And as I tap this cover back down, it starts turning a little more freely again. Although it does sound kind of awful. I wonder if I should take this drive pulley off. See, if I was an alternator repair shop, I'd know exactly what the hell to do. Well, there's a nice hole right there for an Allen wrench, so I'm assuming this is the basic idea on how to get this apart. Let's see if I can't get that nut off. Ooh, that's tight. Could also be a reverse thread, but put a little PB blaster out of the starters. Ooh, that's really tight. I got my longest handled wrench on there to give me leverage, and I've tried a couple of different pipes on this Allen wrench, and my worry is that the Allen wrench is going to want to strip out in that hole because that's really the weak point. But the wrench is actually bending before it wants to give, so I think I'm going to have to put some heat to this. Wow, I've heated this up twice now, tried some mechanical shock, tried the PB blaster a couple times, and it's still so tight that I've actually just twisted the Allen wrench. You can see that it's actually twisted now, rather than it turning. Now, the direction I was just trying to turn it in would be the traditional lefty-loosey. So, if I've got reverse threads on here, then I might be pushing it in the wrong direction. But I did try the other direction too, and it didn't seem to want to budge. I think I might need to do a little research if I am gonna get anywhere with disassembling this alternator. First step in any good research is positively identifying what you're researching. So what I'm looking at is looking at a number that I found on the alternator. It appears to be 1100 545 32A AC27. Oh, I'm sorry, 4C27 dash 12V neg, which of course is 12 volt negative ground. So I think that is, I'll look under some of this other gunk, but I think that's really all the numbers that I can find on here. Well, I've scraped off quite a bit of crud off of this thing and still aren't really finding any other numbers, so I think those numbers I found are sufficient.